Hello and welcome to the MMA India show. And I am your host. And what an amazing UFC 249 we had. A brilliant day of fights, morning of fights here in India. And I'm going to bring on our first guest. And here we go. And Vishal, Coach Seigell, how are you?
How are you?
Very good.
I
Very
am
good.
doing well.
Very good. Very
Doing
good.
well.
So what an amazing morning of fights. And Vishal Seigell, let me introduce you again, is the head coach of Koi Combat Academy and is based out of Bangalore. And we did the pre-fight, of course, analysis together as well. And thank you so much for joining us again for this post-fight analysis where we can see predictions, of course, is always a double-edged sword, and you make
Absolutely.
and you give an opinion based on what how the fighters have been fighting for the last year or so, what they've been doing, a lot of factors. Sometimes it's also judging what mental state somebody is in, as compared
Yes.
to somebody else. But that is what makes these fights so interesting as well. Just an amazing morning of fights. Unfortunate that we could not really see the prelims or that much. I think there was a mix-up between UFC and Sony, because the UFC Fight Pass, which usually shows the prelims, said was not showing them and said that they will be on Sony. But I had contacted the Sony people yesterday, and they said no, they won't be showing the prelims like usual.
Ah,
So I think a slight mix-up there. तो जिन लोगों ने सोनी फाइट पास यूएफसी फाइट पास के पैसे दिए हुए हैं मेरे जैसे, आई थिंक वी
refund.
नीड, well, refund इतना भी
Refund.
नहीं है एक फाइट के लिए, but I think they need to ensure that the fight fans in India get to see this next
Absolutely.
time. Now, first of all, you were able to see the whole card, right?
I missed. I think I saw. No, I missed most of the prelims for the
Not the
same
prelims, I mean
reason.
the main card. You saw the main card
Main
fully?
card, yes.
Okay.
For the most part, 95%. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for having me on again. And
Pleasure,
I
pleasure, pleasure,
also, I
pleasure.
also like to wish all the rockstar mothers very happy, sincere Mother's Day.
Absolutely,
Because
absolutely,
if
yes.
they weren't the rock stars they are, we wouldn't be anywhere. So
Absolutely. And happy
yeah,
Mother's Day to everybody. They are really amazing, and the world goes round because of them. And we've already
absolutely.
started getting comments. We'll start to show them. Of course, we'll get to Gaethje is a killer, but I don't know if he can stop Khabib. That guy is a bear who mauls you. Well, then again, we'll get to that fight later. But then again, nobody thought Ferguson could be beat. But like I said, okay, so Abron Singh is saying that UFC prelims haven't been streamlined on Fight Pass for quite some time now. Uh,
Okay.
okay, I thought they were. And Gurkaran is also ready to join us. So I'm going to bring in Gurkaran as well.
Do we have to? Oh, hi, Gurkaran.
Hello guys,
Was he
how's
hearing me?
everyone?
How are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good, good.
Just traumatized a little bit, but yeah, I'll be alright.
Gurkaran Singh was on our pre-fight analysis as well. And just to introduce him, he is the head coach at India Top Team, which is not a franchise of American Top Team,
Not.
which is not the franchise. अरे गायब हो गया ये franchise का नाम लेते ही गायब हो गया बेचारा. But I'm guess he'll be back. But now, just to talk about the first fight, the first fight was, here we go, was Greg Hardy versus Jurgen de Castro. Now, Jurgen, he did start very strong, in the first
Yes.
round, and he he got a couple of those very good kicks in with which almost debilitated his front leg. Greg Hardy, for a little while you saw him a little sprightly on that first, not so sprightly on that first leg.
Yes.
But of course, after that, in the second and third round, he wasn't able to do as much. One thought one really had a big fight on one's hand in the first round. And one remembers he had knocked out the Australian heavyweight Tafa, I think his name is, right?
Tougher.
Tafa, in really
Yeah.
brutal fashion. So one thought, you might get something like that, but it just goes to show as well, it's really hard to predict what's going to happen on the day sometimes. And it was a good fight, but Greg Hardy, I think, re-looked at his strategy a bit, after that. And his movement and all was really good. He knew what was going to come for him, and he was keeping a distance. Some of those front kicks were really good. His boxing was really good. And Jurgen was just never able to come in then. And we are going to get in Srikant as well. Srikant Sekhar is going to be coming in. Hi, Srikant. How are you?
Hi, sir.
How's it
I'm good.
going?
How are you?
Very good, very good.
Like
very good.
I was watching the fight pretty live, and it was an amazing experience. Oh wow, what a fight! I
Wow.
said Justin Gaethje, right? I'm amazing.
Yeah.
Like I'm really excited about it.
Yes, you did say.
Woo!
And here is Gurkaran again. So all four of us are back. And yeah, so let's start. We were just talking about the first fight, which was Greg Hardy and Jurgen de Castro, which Jurgen, had a pretty good first round, but then Greg Hardy controlled the second and third rounds very well. You can say like Jurgen kind of stopped fighting. He was always looking, I think, for the kicks or for the big overhand right, which is his big weapon, but wasn't able to find it. And Greg, you can say, very well deserved to get his hand raised then.
Absolutely. I think the first round, Jurgen, he could pretty much control the round, ended up hurting his foot, and then his kicks kind of, were very far and few in between. And if you see, Greg was really starting to hurt on that front leg. It kind of restricted his movement, but because, in my opinion, from what I saw, Jurgen, once he hurt his foot, he kind of abandoned the kicks. So this kind of gave Hardy a little bit of time to, compose himself and, come back and start with his onslaught. But I think second round, or where it was like I was thinking Hardy is going to be put out. Unfortunately, the guy, I think he hurt his instep in one of the kicks.
Now, Abron is asking, do you guys think that Jurgen de Castro was injured? If not, that was the weirdest loss ever. So what you're saying is you think he did get injured, basically.
I think from that kick he did, and at the end of the fight he was talking to Hardy, and even the commentators were talking about it. But see, once he suddenly, it wasn't like it was a gradual, that the work rate gradually came down. It was just boom, suddenly, he just stopped. And like I said, it was far and few in between. And it was like, and Greg Hardy was feeling it. And Greg Hardy, though he had the reach and everything, he was feeling it. Jurgen was trying to time that overhand, I think. But also, I didn't see from either of them, they do not set up their leg kicks behind their punches. They go straight for the leg kicks. So that kind of gives you a little more openings in both ways, But yeah, I think he hurt his right instep. Jurgen did.
Yeah. Srikant, did you see the first fight?
Yeah. I agree to the point. Like I think he had a very nice start, and I was actually I started liking him as a fighter. That guy, and looking at his first round, and then he messed it up in the second and third round. Maybe it's just the foot injury or something like that. But it's a fight. It's a fight, and foot injuries happen, and shin cracks, and nose breaks and stuff. You have to go through. If you have to be a fighter, you have to go through. You have to fight through, and that's how you become a fighter. Or else, like everyone can fight.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, that was the first fight. Now, before we start talking about the second one, which was a really amazing fight, I just want to show the intro reel of these guys. This is not from today.
Little Heathen
Now, that wasn't from today, but it's footage UFC had given us. So it's great using it right now to introduce the second fight, which was Jeremy Stephens versus Calvin Kattar. And this was a really, strong back and forth fight, but you could see that, Calvin was really technical, very smart, whereas Jeremy sometimes I think likes to swing for it a lot of times.
Yes. It's like I said, initially when we spoke about this, Jeremy had to stay disciplined, and everything Jeremy throws most of the times, is with ill intentions. What I feel when first I thought it was a right cross that he caught him with, but it was actually an elbow that he caught Jeremy with when he put him down. Uh, if you see in the beginning of the second round, Calvin threw a right and it barely missed. And even in the first round, when he was, he started with his outside punches, he came in, with the inside shots. Uh, he typically Muay Thai fighters, some of them will start slow, but he got the timing down right. Towards the end of the first round as well, he was going with that 1-2 and the shovel hook to the body, and then he was setting it up. I think he got 2 or 3 flurries in the first. He kind of got his he got his that pep in his step, and then boom, he finished it. And initially when we spoke about it, this is Jeremy, obviously he is the fighter he is, and when your body starts getting tired, all the bad habits start showing up. Bad habits in the sense the things that don't work for you, right? It may work for somebody else, and boom, it was solid. That elbow, the forearm, it was solid.
Yeah, and he got him actually. He first got him, I think, with the right elbow, and then when he was on the ground, Stephens on the ground, he also got him with the left elbow, which is what cut his forehead open, which seemed like a really bad cut.
Yep.
And
first of all,
you can. Sorry, go ahead, Srikant.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to ask, how many of you guys chose Jeremy Stephens?
I chose Jeremy Stephens.
And
I don't think I chose anybody. I think I was diplomatic.
No. You have to stand your ground, right? I think I have to review your interview to find out whom you choose.
I will.
Anyways,
I will, and I'm going to message you then. In case I did choose.
Okay, no problem.
I'm going to message you and show you that clip.
Okay, I don't remember what Gurkaran chose, but I till how much I know, like I was the one who chose Calvin Cater.
Yes, you did.
Just because like I'm a fan of that guy. Just because I just said, see, his precision. Sometimes, like Connor says, precision beats power, and timing beats speed. And Kelvin Cater just had a fight, and you can see he just led by example, right?
Yeah.
And there was a beautiful elbow, and then he followed with another elbow, and then he finished it. It was a perfect fight. He fought a perfect fight.
Yeah, it was. He never seemed in any trouble.
No, never.
There was
and I can say Jeremy Stephens was going out of balance when he was throwing some shots, but Kelvin Cater was always focused.
And Calvin, seemed the more focused, calm one out of both of them.
Calm in the sense. I thought Jeremy. I apologize.
Sorry.
Jeremy Stephens, he set the pace in the first round. He was connecting. He was doing well with the left roundhouse to the body, to the liver. Though Calvin was a little bit on the back foot, he wasn't, but he was figuring out Jeremy the first round.
Yeah.
Jeremy was connecting, so was Calvin. He fired out 2 or 3 beautiful combos. Calvin did, right? And then, and then this is the first round, and then second round he comes back and he totally, it was like he just zoomed. He took over the fight, and he timed him. That's my only thought process, that he timed him pretty well. He did the homework in the first round, and he was looking for his moments, and boom.
He fought a very smart fight.
I mean, yes, that's very.
He fought a smart fight. Yeah. He deserved it. It.
But this fight, I will give you a beer, Srikant.
I'm waiting for the last one. Because
I'm the one before that. Let's not pick and choose. Let's not cherry pick.
Okay. Yeah, let's go. Let's go one by one. Let's go.
Okay, let's go to the next fight, which was Francis versus Jairzinho. Let's just see that first, the intro.
Can you just show the fight? It's very small.
Yeah, it's like 20 seconds. I can't see a video.
No problem.
Can't
People
see Gurkaran either.
People can.
Okay, that's fine.
Biggie boy, Rosenstrike.
Okay, so you can't see Gurkaran because Gurkaran has disappeared somewhere. I think his net is giving him a problem.
But I can see everyone.
Or maybe he doesn't want to pay for the beer now. So
yeah, exactly.
coming to this fight, Francis does this. Of course, he swings, and it depends on the talent of the other person, because this is what he was doing with Stipe as well, right? But Stipe is, has great hands, has great head movement, and knew I was staying out of the way. Here, Jairzinho just couldn't get out of the way in time.
Yeah, I mean, there is for the 20 seconds it lasted.
Yeah, for the 20 seconds.
Sorry. Go ahead, Srikant, please. My bad. Go ahead, Srikant.
No. You go ahead, please. It's okay.
It was just freight train coming, boom, and he ran through. Thing is, I think in a lot of Francis fights I've seen, his leg kicks as of now are not that great. What I was expecting is, he be affected by his opponent's leg kicks and his movement go away. But the chance, he started out with some leg kicks. But the moment the freight train started and he connected, he missed a few shots, then he connects with that left hook and then misses with the right and comes back. The second hook is what put him away. It's like, I think Rocky IV, where they said Ivan Drago, whatever he hits, he breaks. So the president's with the leg kicks wasn't set, and then when Nagano started moving forward, I think he was also, when he was falling back, he was a little off balance. So when he was there and Nagano swarmed all over him, there was no chance.
But tell me one
Obviously,
thing.
because
Of course, last time also when he had his big run, one saw a similar Nagano. But will this kind of a strategy, you just go forward and swing, will this kind of strategy work against a Stipe again, or a Daniel Cormier, especially against a Stipe, who knows how Francis fights? He comes forward and he has big hands. Last time we saw, he tired him out, and he was able to evade and get back. Do you think this can, and it works, of course, with a Jairzinho who has a similar style. But do you think this strategy will work against the A+ guys like your Stipe? Isn't it a matter of just okay, you connect, you connect, and then lights out. But if you don't, then over a couple of rounds you tire yourself out.
Yeah, like if you ask me, like Joe Rogan said, Rosenstruck just went on with a gun to fight a firefight with Ngannou, who has a bazooka. You are never winning that, right? And like before Francis connected Rosenstruck with a couple of his shots, I think he got connected himself. But it was a matter of power. Like Francis didn't get buckled up, whereas lights out for Rosenstruck. Over for him 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Correct.
So that was a scary fight. That was a really scary fight. The way he beats up his chest after the fight.
Hey, who chose Francis? And who chose the other guy?
And DC says he doesn't want to fight Francis Ngannou.
Absolutely. So to that question, if you also see Stipe versus DC, DC in the first fight they had seen some tape and they had figured some stuff out with the overhook and the I think it was uppercut that he knocked out Stipe with in the first fight. I'm not sure. And then it was a hook. Okay, so second time around he was not able to do that. So it really comes down to on fight day, what your mental preparation is and how you're going in it. So surely you have your base of how you fight, but in terms of fighting Stipe against Stipe will obviously have to be as disciplined as he was in the first fight. Plus he would have to do some other things as well. I think anybody who can set a precedence with take away his legs, then because then he cannot, he cannot have that foot to be able to throw that power that he does. I think Stipe used a combination of wrestling and he used very disciplined boxing from the range. He was just enough at the end of the punches where he was not getting, clobbered. I'm sure he got hit, but not clobbered. Like today, Tony got clobbered with shots. Right. That in for that fight, that's what I feel in terms of Ngannou and Stipe if the second one happens. Yeah.
Gurkaran, आज लगता है चंडीगढ़ में थोड़ा इंटरनेट का प्रॉब्लम है नहीं?
यहाँ पे एक्चुअली storms आ रहे हैं guys. Massive storms. अभी एक्चुअली थोड़ी लाइट हो गई है, नहीं तो बिल्कुल ब्लैक है यहाँ पे. That's why.
Okay. So what do you have to say?
For this fight?
Yeah.
I already knew that was going to happen. That's why I told you guys. Francis, I think he's going to be the next champion, guys. You can go watch the interview again now. I told you, Srikant, this guy is a monster. He was too big, too
but
skilled.
I don't think Ngannou is a champion caliber fighter. I don't think he's a champion caliber fighter.
I think he will become the next champion, I mean, that's what your opinion, but I think after his last loss from Stipe, before the last loss from Stipe, he had this ego. He thought he was the best, even though he had been in this game for not a long time. But Stipe showed him big holes in his game, and after that, he had that fear in his next fight. But when he overcome that fear, he came a better man. Even today, he was all humble and stuff. I think with that kind of attitude, and because he already had that hard-working attitude, because he's from his roots, and plus he has all the physical characteristics. He's mentally okay. That way, I think he's going to be the. I don't think.
But see, all of these things were the same before his title fight, before Stipe.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
What's
his
changed?
ego was way up there. He thought he knows everything. He had a different persona. That's why when that persona went down, his ego broke. He was like that with Lewis fight. He didn't even want to fight because he had an ego and it broke. And then he had to reinvent himself. He had to go humble a bit and just see what reality is. Because Stipe could see the holes in his games, but Francis was like, I know everything. I'm the best, because he was able to overpower other guys. So now I think he's going to be more skillful, have the right mindset, and the best. He already has the weight advantage and all the muscle and this and just crazy power to himself. So I think that would be the reason why he's going to be the next one. I could be wrong, but that's my opinion.
Anybody know what the reach difference was? The reach?
I think it's about 3-4.
One was 83. One was 83 and one was 78. And I remember this because my friend was sitting live with me and watching this, and he just asked me what is reach. So I was explaining him what is reach.
Basically,
so I remember this.
Ngannou had, of course, the reach advantage.
Without a doubt. I don't think they both were 6'4" also. It said they both were 6'4". I don't think they were both 6'4".
No. The other
Ngannou was much taller than him.
He's 6'2".
Pretty long.
Ngannou is 6'4".
Yeah, he's 6'4". But it said he's also 6'4". So I'm like, there's no way both of them are going to be 6'4",
Okay, well, moving to the next. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, just one beer back.
Okay. Well, moving to the next fight, I'm just going to remove myself for a second so we can see the entry.
Sure.
Dominic, the Dominator Cruz. Henry, the Massacre.
Hey, Gurkaran.
Yes,
now again, sorry, just
whom
to
did
let everybody
whom
know.
did you choose? Kelvin Keter or
Jeremy Stevens? I chose Jeremy Stevens. Yeah.
So
I'm the only one then. See,
you were the only one, bro. You were the only one who were correct.
Okay, coming to this fight.
Yeah.
Which one of you chose?
I don't know. Are we live?
Which one? Yeah, we are.
Can you see?
Yeah. We're all live. Yeah, we're all live. Coming to this fight,
I saw
which
him. He
But
disappeared
I
about 20
see
seconds
people
ago. But
watching.
there's only three people on the call right now. That's
no,
Okay,
no, no.
okay,
We're
guys.
all live.
I
Hey
must
guys,
say
what's up?
five.
How's everyone?
We're all live. We're all live. We're all live. Okay, coming to
So
this
Go ahead.
fight.
Waiting.
Coming to
Yeah, yeah.
this fight.
Go ahead,
Coming to
coach.
this fight.
so
Dominic Cruz.
in the beginning of the Nagano fight, I missed the first few seconds, and I came back when he was he I think he had got an inside kick on the lead leg
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Yeah.
Nagano, and then it paused for a second, my internet, and then it started again. So the next thing I saw is Nagano going forward, charging,
Yeah,
and
that
then
I think that's what happened, you know.
Rosenstruik
Nothing much
falling
happened.
backward off balance.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I
yeah.
didn't
That's
miss
that's
much.
what happened. Like, I don't think that Shrikant did anything happen. I don't think that's what happened. You know, he caught him with a kick and then
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
went
Yeah. Yeah.
forward. That's all what happened, man.
Yeah.
20 seconds.
It was just exchange of firepower, and he got
Yeah,
the best out of Rosenstruck. It was
yep, yep.
as simple as that.
Man, I really
And
love
what do you
that.
think
Like,
about Dominic Cruz and what do you think about Dominic Cruz and
Yeah. So coming to Dominic
me, see,
Cruz.
even though I'm a big Dominic
our
Cruz
triple
fan, you guys
C's
saw.
fight?
You guys saw me
Yeah.
being a flaky, being a Hulk cut and choosing Dominic Lewis, you know.
Yeah.
So you guys know how
Yeah.
big of a fan.
Yeah.
Even though my brain was saying Henry's gonna win, but I still chose Dominic Cruz because I'm his biggest fan. Every time Dominic Cruz
Yeah.
fights, my heart goes fucking crazy, bro. Trust me, because he was like one of the first guys, you know. Then that's when you know you
Yeah.
are emotionally so much invested in a fighter when that happens to you. But even though I'm his fan, I think that was a good stoppage, you know, because he
What do you
got
think about the stoppage?
I think it was a good stoppage because he got caught clean with that knee and then he was hit like 11 times, you know. So I
Okay.
understand from Dominic Cruz, man, he has worked so hard for this fight, so much hours because he's that volume guy. He put so much volume and then volume. And as a fighter wants him to just go out. He doesn't want, like, even if there's a small chance, he's like, but the referee has to save him. He has to do his job. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
it was a good stoppage, you know. I think it was a good stoppage.
Yeah. Well,
What do you guys think?
What do you say,
At the
Vishal? Yeah.
time uh, when he was going for the finish against Dominic, Dominic's hands were down and he was looking away, trying to get away,
Yeah,
right? And Henry just put it on, and then you got to kind of, because the ref has to make a decision like that,
yeah,
right? So I think it was in obviously Dominic's brain. He knows the best where he was in terms of what kind of damage he took or what kind of damage he was taking, and
Here we are.
so
Praveen sir is back.
yeah,
he's
yeah. I've
back.
been back for some time. I've been hearing
okay.
you guys.
So at that time, if you were looking from the ref's angle, sure, Dominic's hands were here. He was kind of sprawled out of sorts, and then he's turning. I think he was turning to his right, and Henry. There was a lot of unanswered shots. Now I'm not saying if let's say the same scenario happened standing, where he's bobbing, weaving, swinging, moving away, it gives a little different impression. And keep in mind that the refs got to kind of make a split decision. I can, I see what Dominic is saying, but from my side, it was. I mean, that's what the ref had to do because there was a lot of unanswered shots, and Dominic didn't get away quick enough, or
Yeah.
wasn't in the right
Yeah.
frame, because when it was like when you get hit and you start seeing things. So I don't know where he was. I'd have to go back and see the post fight interview to figure out what he was feeling at the time. So from what I saw, I would think that it was a decent stoppage.
Gurkaran, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I already said I thought it was a good stoppage.
Yeah.
I thought he got caught clean with a knee, and after that, I think he landed like 11 punches. Even though I love Dominic, but I know he invested so much of his time and energy into everything, so he doesn't want it to be stopped. But as a referee, he did the right job, you know.
Yeah.
All fighter,
And
even
a couple.
McGregor, pardon?
Yeah. Sorry, a couple of
Even with
more punches, and people
yeah,
would have been saying you didn't stop it in time. Because that knee was
exactly,
very clean and it
exactly.
did knock the lights out for some time.
Exactly. That's what happened. Like, then the people would have been blaming the referee that, oh, you didn't stop the fight too early, like, or like before. You don't
Yeah.
care about the fighters. I think he did his job, and he did it well. That's what I feel personally.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm his biggest fan. So if there was something, I would be more biased. But for the fight, about the safety of my fighter, I think that was the best decision.
Yeah.
Right.
Vishal, you want to add?
What do you think, Srikant? What do you think?
Shrikant's
I
gone.
think he's frozen. Yes, I think we've for a
Shrikant's
moment.
Yeah, he's
internet
frozen.
is also a little flaky today.
Ooh. So
Hey, Halkat.
I was see the way the way Dominic the way they Bob be swaying the leaf, though it is unorthodox and unpredictable, and it's very difficult to hit. But what happened was, what I think I saw was Henry was trying to throw a kick, and Shrikant is back, by the way.
Yeah,
So
two Srikants.
and and because of Dominic's movement, the knee touched first, and he didn't need to open the rest of the kick. I've seen that happen quite a few times. I think that was the case. I could be wrong, but I don't know what you guys saw. So that is, that kick was flush. That really shook him up, and it was with the agility, Dominic's head coming down and knee coming up and meeting him. It just had him, and his ability to take that shot. Damn, he was still in his senses. Not all of
Yep,
them, but he was still there. He was still trying to get away, but just wasn't quick enough.
yep, yep.
Shrikant, you want to
Absolutely.
say anything about the stoppage before we move on? Shrikant, can you hear? Hello?
Srikant.
Shrikant, can you hear us?
Oh my gosh, both the Shrikants have stopped.
Yeah.
Two
Shrikant,
Halkats, three Halkats, including me.
Shrikant, can you hear us? Okay, I guess not.
Yes, no.
You're equal to 5.
Very cool to find. Okay. Now let's just go on. What do you guys have to say about his retirement, though, so-called retirement? Do you think he actually means to retire, or do you think it's just a way of a little more showmanship, wanting to make a comeback, blah blah blah, all of that?
Possible, that's possible. But I mean, he has done everything he could. Like, he got the gold, he got the bantamweight belt, he got the flyweight belt, and he defended against possibly the greatest bantamweight of all time. So even if he does retire, I'm not gonna be sad. Because even though he was here for a small time, even though he was cringy or this, but he truly was a true great. We have to accept that.
But wouldn't you
So
want to
He is a true great.
Absolutely, he is an amazing fighter. But wouldn't you want to stamp your authority on that division for a little while longer?
I could say that, but I could say that like for McGregor also, because he didn't defend it like his belt for a long time. So he proved he was legit. That would be an ideal case, if he does that. But even if he doesn't do that, we still know. Like, some people say that he beat TJ because of luck and stuff. I'm like, that guy has been getting lucky since the Olympics. Now he beat Dominic also. So it's not luck. He's hard work, and the guy is so smart, and he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So he's a true great, and if it's upon him, whatever he wants to do. If you want to do it just to get more pay or more like drama and stuff, that's good also. If he doesn't, if he's okay with whatever he has done, I think he has done enough. I think he's done more than enough to be counted as a true great. Goat.
Shrikant, can you hear us now? Shrikant?
Yeah, I can hear you right
Okay.
now. I don't know. I missed a lot of things, I guess.
Yeah, no problem. You want
But
to say
then,
anything about
regarding
you want to say anything about the stoppage,
Yeah.
Dominic Cruz stoppage?
Yes, I think it was a very amateur stoppage, and it was pretty early. It was a very early stoppage, and when you have fights at that height, right? And the referee has to be there, sharp. Like Dominic Cruz very well explained the fact that how can you get knocked out when you are getting up? And if you are getting up, you are knocked out. Then what is the point of stopping the fight? And I think he had a very valid point right there.
But is it about just being knocked out or being able to
Not
intelligently
effectively defend
yourself?
yourself.
Of course, he was trying to get up.
See, there are times like they explained, right?
Yeah.
Shane Carvin and Brock Lesnar fight. Brock Lesnar was pretty more like 10 times more damaged than Dominic Cruz was, and they still didn't stop the fight. And the same goes with Rory McDonald and Robbie Lawler fight. The damage was to a different level, and this was if you compare things like that when you are having a championship fight, you need to sometimes let things loose, because people come there to die, and they come there to fight. They just don't want to go home disappointed of the fact that the referee screwed it up.
I think you're talking like a true fighter.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Because the same instance happened with me when I was fighting in
Yeah.
Goa in Tito's, and the referee he thought I was choked out, where I was doing a double leg and taking him down, and he stopped the fight. Then I asked him what happened. He says me sorry, and then there is a loss in my record just because of that fact, and that's the reason when the referee screw it up. I get very angry. I'm very disappointed about it.
Well, okay. So I'm not sure. Screw up is, I think, a very strong term, but of course, it's all opinions here.
Yeah.
And in terms of Dominic Cruz, he did feel it was a screw up. He was pretty adamant that he was trying to get up, and he should have been allowed some more time. Basically, that's what he felt as well.
I think that's the opinion of every fighter. Every fighter wants a little bit more time to recover, because he, in his hearts of hearts, he know that he can come back. In his hearts and hearts, he know that he can come back. And even when McGregor was knocked out by Floyd, McGregor was like, let my head hit the floor. Don't let me lose on my feet. And that's why Tony was also. We're gonna talk about that later on, but Tony was also so pissed.
Yeah.
But I guess the referees do have to be, careful as well. You have to remember these are all very split-second decisions that they're taking. Is which punch is one punch too many? Do they stop when they feel, listen, this guy's not. This is where I feel he's not defending himself. A couple of more punches and this guy is going to be out. Do I let it go till that? So I always think, and I agree with you, Srikant, also as a fighter, that because the fighter is the only one who knows how much he can take it, and at that point is he able to get up and everything. But I'm talking from the
I want to add something to it. I want to add something to it. I had a fight with a Malaysian opponent. He was a Mima middleweight champion, and I fought him in Orissa. So that was back in 2014 or 15. I don't remember much. I think that fight had more damage than Dominic Cruz and Henry Cejudo's fight, because my opponent had 11 fractures in his face, and then I was pretty busted up. And but then at that level, when you are fighting, guys from AK Thailand are coming and fighting in India, and the coaches and referees are pretty seasoned, right? Jitendra Khare, he was the referee over there, and he's pretty seasoned. He knows what he's doing. So he let that fight continue, because I was rocked a couple of times in the fight in the second round, but the fight continued, and then it happened to be a very nice fight. So when you let things push a little bit more further, I think you can see miracles happening, because that is where a fighter fights back, and that is where the thing of a fighter comes in. I have to fight back. You have to give him that fighting chance.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. If I think in the future when Srikant is gonna go to the UFC, I think he's gonna go for Dan Margliata, because that guy's let the fights go. Have you guys seen the fight Chi Congo versus Pat Barry? My gosh, that's a true example of this thing. That's a true example of this thing.
Exactly.
Chi Congo was out, but then he let it go, and what happened was Chi Congo ended up knocking out Pat Barry clean out.
Yeah, I think he got rocked.
I think we've lost. Hello, Srikant.
I think we lost him.
Okay, I think we've lost him for now. So let's move on.
If I may, I'm a big fan of Wanderlei Silva, the Axe Murderer, the Mad Dog, and I appreciate that kind of thought process and that kind of those kind of fights. But I wouldn't say this is a big mistake. I understand what a fighter would say, but you got to understand the angle of the referee, angle of what he's seeing. Right now, like I said before, we don't know what's going on in the mind of Dominic, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I got this. I'm trying to get back up," and he very well could have got back up and been in the fight, right? But with the way it's like a split decision, split second miss. So it's one of the thing. Like I said, I'm picking Henry to win, but my heart is just like Gurkaran, was wanting to go with Dominic. It's just it's unfortunate that we now this could be a possible asterisk in some people's mind, and now after that he retires. But Dominic is a stud.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, shall we move on to the next fight?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, with pleasure.
I know you've been waiting for that.
Yeah, of
You know why Srikant got offline? He's like 1 beer, 2 beer, 5, 6.
no, even if you cancel out all the things, like I really prefer a guy like Justin Gaethje. I would really prefer watching a guy like Justin Gaethje fight, because that is what, if you ask me, that is the guy, that is the guy I want to be, or I am. Maybe I am deep down within, I am that guy, so I know how it feels. I have been through those kind of fights, so it's a pleasure fighting those kind of fights.
Absolutely.
So, you know,
who chose?
I chose, listen, very frankly speaking, I chose Tony Ferguson, and because I feel he would, and see, the reason I chose him was I felt he would be able to take whatever Justin dishes out, and he did for quite some time. You know, who chose Justin?
Me and Srikant, I think so.
Actually, you both.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
But
just a comment on the screen, sorry, reminded me of Dustin versus Holloway. Yeah, exceptional cardio is good, but you do have to have power shots in your arsenal. The consequences, Colby faced, Max faced, and now Tony faced too. This was Nitish Jha.
The same happened with Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski.
Yeah.
Too much power.
Yeah.
Too much power.
But quite frankly speaking, what I anticipated, see, Justin does have a lot of power, but I didn't think he was going to be able to land them with as much precision as he was able to. I did feel that he would land a couple, and then Tony would get moving, and he wouldn't be able to. You know, but Justin was really on point today, you know, with his stand-up and his kicks and everything. And he just didn't let Ferguson get going. You know, the Ferguson who we know, that Ferguson just wasn't able to get going. And you saw the amount of damage that Ferguson took. Anybody else, I think, would have been done by the third round.
I would say first
and
round.
have been previously done.
Yeah. Third round,
previously and he has showed in the past that you know people have been done. So, but one thing that I did notice, and hats off to both guys. I think this was between round 2 and 3. Justin did, you know, he was taking in deep breaths. You know, he was throwing with a lot of power, and he was throwing a lot, and he was also missing a bit, right? He started, I think, the discipline that the corner and the fighter showed in terms of Trevor Whitman and Justin. He started listening, and then he started picking his shots. And towards the end, he could have finished. He could have gone in for the kill, but he didn't need to.
Sorry, guys. Srikant, can you hear me? Hello? Srikant, can you hear me? Hello? Srikant, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear it. I can hear you, sir.
Yeah, sorry. Let me just tell them.
Sure.
Yeah, sorry. So what were we saying? I've just asked them to log in again. Also, the broadcast got off. Vishal is also ready again too. There you go. Join. So what were you saying? I think you were speaking when we got cut off.
Yeah. So like I was saying the same thing about Justin Gaethje. Like no one wants to fight Tony Ferguson in a short notice fight, and you really need to have some different kind of crazy mindset or crazy game plan, or just come with a crazy heart like Justin Gaethje has to fight a guy like Tony Ferguson. Yeah. And he came, he did a smart fight, and he was precise, he was so disciplined, and he was so much into the game. He started enjoying the fight later deep down in the rounds. And then no matter what Tony Ferguson did, it doesn't matter, like you do Kung Fu Panda stuff or you do something out of the box. It doesn't matter when guys like Justin Gaethje start throwing bombs at you. Like Mike Tyson says, you come with a plan until you get punched in the head.
in the face.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But you know, in the past, that stuff has worked because that's his style.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
it's just that
But
Justin
then I feel I
didn't allow him to, execute his plan and his style, so to speak.
yeah. So like I was saying about like I want to say something about Tony Ferguson as well, because I think most of his time from last 6 months he has been spending time training with wrestlers and a lot of jiu-jitsu guys, just because of the fighting style of Khabib. But then when that fight didn't happen, and he now suddenly is surprised by a guy like Justin Gaethje, who has a lot of firepower and is good at wrestling, and Khabib doesn't have that kind of firepower like Gaethje has. So it was a completely different adversity Tony had to face, and today he felt short, and today he failed.
Yeah, absolutely. But a really entertaining fight. You know, it was one of those things. You know, because because a lot of people were expecting something to come from Tony all of a sudden. You know, but that comeback never really happened, and that's why I think it was
Yep.
more, edge of the seat entertainment, if I can call it that. You know, where both of he just kept going. You know, either one expected. Listen, Justin is fighting so well. When is it going to be too
Yep.
much for Tony to take, or is Tony, because he's weathering so much, is he going to get into his flow, which he usually does? You know, he usually weathers those first couple of rounds, you know,
Yeah,
and makes a comeback.
if
But today that never happened.
like if you ask me about the fight, sometimes when you get into a flow, you get into a flow, and today was just an amazing day for Justin Gaethje, and he got into the flow so smooth. He just went into the flow so smooth, and then the fact of I feel bad about Tony Ferguson, and because he would have been training really hard for Khabib. But then the thing is, we are saying about Tony Ferguson didn't come back. Like it's very hard when you are getting hit by rocket launchers from every side, and you're trying to fire AK-47s. It's very hard to kill someone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he was just getting beaten up, and when your brain is shaking all over all over the place inside your head, and you are not able to breathe, you cannot see because your eyes are busted up, and you are not able to think. You don't know where are the directions, you don't know where the light's coming from, you cannot see properly.
Yeah.
And probably you have an orbital fracture, because when he had the last jab, he was just shaking his head like he couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
And this kind of circumstances, you need to dig deep, and sometimes digging deep is a big harm to the fighters.
Yeah.
And I think Tony Ferguson is hurt more than ever in this fight. He's
absolutely.
like, I think he'll take a tremendous mental beating as well.
Yeah. Vishal, can you see us now?
I can't see you. I can hear you guys.
Okay. You're on though. So we can see and hear you.
I lost.
Sorry, no worries. But we can see and hear you.
Okay.
Wasn't it? I mean, Justin was just so, and I keep repeating this, precise. And he was countering. I think he was just timing his punches so well that he knew. It was like the minute he saw Ferguson moving, he just had, I don't know if it's fair enough to say he had quicker hands, but he just seemed to be landing on point and seemed to have much more power all the time, and he was so precise. Vishal, we can see you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So first I lost my train of thought of what I was trying to remember what I was saying. So anyway, yes, the thing is, between the second and the third round, like where I said before, when Justin, you could see that the first wave of him breathing heavy, and then his corner sitting him down and telling him, boss, whatever the game plan was. Then he changed his strategy, got a little more disciplined in his striking. And then if you see towards before he knocked before the ref stepped in, he started throwing the leg kicks as well, and he was starting to score with those and do damage with those as well. So I think it is a combination of when we talk about Justin, it's a combination of his heart, the fortitude of a wrestler and a fighter, MMA, and listening to his corner. I feel the culmination of all these things, like I said before, gave us the result it did. So if we like a lot of fights you see where people want to go down swinging, or they don't take that one step back to say, okay, let me see the picture properly, and then handle it accordingly. And that's what the fighter Justin and his corner did, which was in I mean, anybody who's fought knows what the emotion is going through when you get hit. What do you think?
Mm.
How disciplined can you stay? Does the adrenaline just make you want to go and just go crazy? What you want to do? That is where he shined. So
Yeah.
one more thing I'd like to say is, we obviously have to respect Justin's Justin's power with his strikes. But when Conor fought Khabib, a lot of people were like, from what I read on the boards and everything, that Conor is going to knock him out. Well, obviously, Khabib has a wrestling background, and the threat of the takedown is there. So you cannot step in the punch when you're throwing that strike. For the most part in that fight, the first round, beyond that, there was, I think that's really slowed down. So, and in this, with both of them being wrestlers, Tony and Justin, I mean, this is a testament to the heart and the durability of Tony, and it is a
Yeah,
testament to what a monster Justin is going to
getting.
become. He is
Yeah,
just starting up. What discipline! I appreciate. You go crazy, you go balls to the wall, but the discipline, the precision, there are a lot of things that go in, and Justin just proved
yeah,
it today.
Yeah.
So
Shrikant, I want to ask you something again when we are talking about stoppages. We had all, of course, seen that Tony had all more, more or less enough, but he hadn't thrown in the towel really. He was trying to avoid Justin, in the end, and the referee just felt he had enough. He was hobbling. Do you think, because we've been talking about this, that fighters do want to keep going on, until they've hit the mat,
yeah,
what do you think of that? Because Tony did seem, when Gaethje went to hug him initially, he told him to f off,
yeah,
and afterwards
yeah,
hugged him.
yeah,
Do you think
yeah.
there was there was a little thing of that the stoppage in Ferguson's mind wasn't, or it was pretty?
No, absolutely not. It was pretty clean.
Hmm.
Like anyone who watched that fight would have seen. Tony Ferguson couldn't take it anymore. Like it was too much, and like sometimes.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is
The,
we could all see that. We could all see
yeah,
that he couldn't take it anymore, and he was starting to back off. But like we were just talking about, that sometimes you take
yeah.
so much damage, and one counter or something, and you can make a comeback, and let the fighter hit the mat. That's what we were just talking about.
Okay.
So
like I'm not very sure. Like I couldn't understand the question you're trying to ask me.
what I'm trying to say is, here as well, do you think the referee should have allowed, I'm just saying again, that he should have allowed Justin to actually knock him out, or to actually allow Ferguson to defend himself to a point where the referee felt that he was not defending himself?
No, the whole fact is like Tony Ferguson was trying to counter back every time Justin Gaethje is throwing bombs at him, right? And then, but he felt short. But then the whole fight till the last moment, he was trying to counter back. And at the very end, he didn't have any more gas in him to throw crisp strikes. And that is where Justin Gaethje had an edge. He can throw strikes all day long, like he can throw bombs. And like if in the case of Dominic Cruz, right, he got knocked out, that means like he got cold, he is not in his senses. That is where the referee steps in. But in this case, like Tony Ferguson was still in his senses. He was not really going down.
That's why I'm asking.
He might have been hurt. Yeah, he might have been hurt, but he was trying to fight back till the very end. But then he himself gave up. Like he just shook his head couple of times. I think he broke his eye socket or orbital bone or cracked up his jaw or something. You never know. But then it might have been really painful that he gave up, and that is where Herb Dean just steps in.
Kind of
He gave him a he gave him a fighting chance.
Yeah. He did. It kind of
He gave him a fighting chance by not stepping in.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of the Robbie Lawler McDonald fight, where finally, McDonald just covered his face and he couldn't take it anymore. But
yes, perfect.
Yeah,
this in a lot of ways. I mean, not in a lot of ways. Towards the end, this looked like if you see how the doctor stopped the fight for Masvidal and Nate Diaz, in terms of damage is what I'm saying, because if you also see so if you also see the Underground King, his name is slipping my mind yet. So yes. So he also, he blew his nose,
Umar ke saath hota
and his
Eddie Alvarez is who you're
Eddie Alvarez. So he did something similar where he ended up blowing his nose and his eye just puffed up.
Exactly.
And I think Tony ended up doing it twice. So where I'm a little confused because of the lag during the end of the fight is that he either I'm confused. Did Tony get frustrated and just turn away, and then the ref stopped the fight?
Yeah.
Or he turned away and and he took a few shots, and it was the other way around.
Whatever it was, I think whichever way. That's why I was asking. Srikant as a fighter. That was the stoppage. Should the referee have allowed it to go on till Ferguson was, either knocked out or not defending himself very clearly? But we had all seen that Ferguson lost it fair and square, and I think the referee, and like we said, you just said as well, sometimes the damage is so obvious that the referee has to stop the fight. So I think that's what it was, more or less.
Yes.
And
so I completely agree with the referee, because Herb Dean is one of the smartest referees out there doing his job, and he's.
I mean, there's no debating who won the fight or who was going to win it, even if it lasted the full round. So there's no debating that. Now, of course, Rishabh is saying McGregor versus Justin Gaethje makes sense now for the interim belt. But how many interim belts are you going to have? This was an interim belt.
No, I don't think. I don't think it's going to be interim belt. Maybe you never know. And then McGregor is fighting Masvidal, I guess, and
for the BMF.
Things like this are happening, and UFC is crazy, And see UFC, they have just cemented their legacy to the only sporting event happening in the time of coronavirus, and unprecedented heights. They are doing crazy things. You never know what is our next for McGregor, and it might be big.
Yeah.
So I just have a question, real quick. How many rounds in the main event? Tony
5
and
rounds.
Justin. How many rounds did you give before the stoppage? Did you how did you score the fight? I can't see anybody still. So.
I score all the rounds to Justin Gaethje. Like from the very start, he was impressive, and I went for a run. I saw my friend. I said him like, switch on your phone. I want to see it live. Then we were sitting in the hut on the top of the mountain and sitting it. And then I was so excited about the fight because I was so impressed by this kid. He was so disciplined from the very beginning, and he imposed his will. He didn't even shake a little bit just because everyone calls Tony Ferguson a boogeyman. He was very disciplined, and he fought a smart fight, and he deserved it. He deserved the win more than anything.
Yeah. Now, Kapil says Tony was there to kill or be killed. As we watched, he didn't give up, but plans didn't go his side. That night wasn't belong to him. Tony had him in his second round, but Bell saved Gaethje. Yeah, well, this is one thing we forgot to mention, that the Bell did save Gaethje in the second round. But listen, that's what happens. The Bell, you know, that round he did kind of have him, but he wasn't able to carry that momentum into the third round then. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, Vishal, go ahead.
Vishal, coach.
So I think I don't know, but the way Justin fell after that shot, when he fell, he was still like, it wasn't like a, he went on his back. I think he fell on his butt, and then he was still there. Though I mean, obviously the strike had impact on him, but when he fell, it wasn't like he was out. So I think he would have recovered, even if I'll have to go back and look at it again. But as far as I remember, it didn't ring a bell that Tony could have finished. Yeah, it was a good thing that he got him. He knocked him down, but or did he? He did knock him down, right? And but I
he
don't think
did.
he would have. I don't think he would have finished with the looks of how Justin fell and how he reacted. With his line of sight towards his
Yeah.
opponent. So I think he was pretty much there. Sure, the impact knocked him down, but that was, he would have not really translated into a finish, most probably. So
Absolutely. Well, Gurkaran, you have anything to say in the final words since you've just joined us again? Can you hear us?
Yeah. So, are you guys still talking about Justin Gaethje and Tony Ferguson?
Well, there's nothing else to talk about after that. So we're just winding up now.
Yeah. I was listening to you guys, but like you guys couldn't see me. That's
Okay.
all. The only thing I wanted to say about the injury and stuff, I think that injury was a bit different than like the Nate Diaz fight, because Nate Diaz injuries were like superficial. He had the scar tissue, but Tony was actually like really really hurt. Like he was literally, I don't think he was running away.
Yeah, he's gone again. आज मेरे ख्याल से चंडीगढ़ का internet is really shaky. So, guys, I think we've wrapped that up. He's off again. Any closing words you guys want to say, even about the whole event per se, the very fact that they were able to pull off this event behind closed doors, so to speak?
if I may, I hope Jacare and two of his teammates, I hope they recover fine. I hope nobody is adversely affected by, you know by that part of the, by virus, by, how that fight got cancelled. And it was an excellent card. It was one of the best cards. Everybody, though everybody had, you know um, they were limited in terms of, this is what Srikant had also said when we were doing our predictions the last time we were on here. It's like, we everybody needs to take into consideration the limitations for all the fighters that showed up today and competed. So it was a fabulous event. One thing, if you allow me to say, I'd like to say, to the naysayers out there, I'll talk for myself personally. I don't have all the knowledge, and I, but okay, leave me out of it. You have one of the star athletes in combat MMA, and and another personality, Mr. Dabas himself, and another personality, Gurkaran, and you being from the same country, you talk about, you make a comment that, we are bottom of the barrel or whatever. That is just ridiculous. We may not know anything, but whatever we know, we put it out there to the best of, our knowledge. And when we, or at least for me, I don't like to, one other thing I don't like is, who's the GOAT. You can never compare. If you lived in the moment when Hoist Gracie fought in the beginning, and you live in the moment now, your thought process is always obviously going to be different, because it makes a lot of difference when you're there. So as far as I'm concerned, I really appreciate this platform, the MMA India show, and Mr. Dabas. It's awesome talking to Captain Crazy and Gurkaran. And
I really don't. I really don't mind who thinks what. Like, I'm here to enjoy, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm very sure the fans are enjoying it. And
absolutely, fans are enjoying it. Everybody enjoy it, and fuck over smart people's opinions is what I say. If
yeah, exactly. It's okay.
If you think you're a self-ordained MMA guru and you just got shut up, I say go fuck yourself, because you're nobody. And I think this is one of the problems. I feel, this is a personal in some sections of the MMA community in our country, is sab khalifa banna chahte hai. Everybody wants to show, well, not everybody, But I just want to say some people do want to show this. मैं ही सब कुछ हूँ, मुझे ही मालूम है, and the rest of you don't know because I have the knowledge. The truth is, nobody knows anything. You know, anything, like we said, MMA is a very predictable game. It's very unpredictable. Sorry, it's very unpredictable. Yeah. So always be humble in your opinions. Always be humble in who you are, and don't try to make other people feel small if they are supporting somebody else. Do it in a nice, fun spirit. Okay, so what if you think one guy is going to win and the other is not going to? So what?
Yes, exactly.
So
live another day.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. And I mean, at some point in our lives, we may be in that phase where we think, and that's okay, but you live and learn, and you learn from your mistakes, and you move forward. Just putting people down is the worst form of anything, and if that is your intention, knowingly,
Yeah.
So
well, I'll just tell you, some such people don't get ahead in life. So, but I always still
we don't need to care about it. It's okay.
Yeah, one doesn't wish wish them badly. One wishes everybody well still. But still, I say go fuck yourself and your opinions. Shove them up your ass. So having said that, we had a great time watching UFC today, and let's end on that really high note. And I've had the pleasure, and thank you so much, guys, for doing the pre and post fight analysis with me, Captain Crazy.
It was fun. It was fun. It was pleasure, and it was fun.
And Coach Vishal Seigell, thank you so much. And hamara bichara halkat Gurkaran Singh is still off, but thank you so much, Gurkaran, as well.
Cut rahe, subah se cut rahe.
वो कह रहे heads or tails. By the way, I have to now go and I lost a bet to Kantaraj as well, so yes.
Whatever. Yeah.
आज लाइन में लगना पड़ेगा, लगता है आज लाइन में लगना पड़ेगा.
एज का थोड़ा लिहाज कर लो, लाइन में आप लोग लग जाना.
बिल्कुल,
ऐसे भी आप लोग दे देना.
Okay, बिल्कुल, absolutely.
All right, guys.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, and it was so lovely having both of you. Thank you so much, and take care. We will chat again.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
See you.
Cheers. So that was the MMA India show today, and we had a great time speaking with Coach Vishal Seigell, MMA fighter Srikant Sekhar, and India top team head coach Gurkaran Singh. Thank you all for tuning in. It was great to have an amazing day of fights with UFC 249. The fighters put everything out on the line all the time for us, and big respect to them. So thank you so much, and goodbye till we meet again. Cheers.
The MMA India Show. The MMA India Show.